Okay, real talk. How many of you have amazing systems for your creative work, but your finances are still a hot mess, right? That used to be me too until I found the core group. They're accountants who actually get creatives and they help you build financial systems that create breathing room instead of panic attacks. Using their profit first methodology means that you pay yourself first. Crazy, right? Go check them out at coregroupus.com. Sometimes the most valuable content comes from showing the messy, imperfect reality of how we actually work instead of the polished version we think we should present. So today I'm pulling back the curtain on my AI assisted weekly planning process with one of my clients, Towle. It's clunky, it's evolving, and it's already changing how we approach productivity. Let's get into it.
Taking creatives from chaos to clarity.
Welcome back to Creativity Made Easy, the podcast for creative professionals who want to scale their business without sacrificing their sanity. I'm your host, Dustin Peed, founder of Chief Creative Consultants, where I help creative teams move from chaos to clarity through systems that actually work. If you're new here, this show is all about practical strategies, real frameworks, and honest conversations about what it takes to build a sustainable creative business. No fluff, no theory, just actionable insights that you can implement today. Now, here's the thing about today's episode. It's different from our usual format. Instead of a polished presentation of a perfectly refined system, I'm doing something I rarely do. I'm showing you something while it's still rough around the edges. I've been experimenting with AI to help streamline my weekly planning process for a while now, and honestly, it's been a game changer, even in its current imperfect state. But rather than waiting until I have it all figured out, I wanted to bring you into the process now because I think there's real value in seeing how we can start integrating these tools into our workflow today with mess and all. Towle, founder of 43 Creative and one of my clients, joined me to walk through exactly how I'm currently using AI to prepare for my weekly preview sessions. You'll hear us navigate through the process in real time, and you'll probably catch some of the places where I'm still trying to figure it out, and I would love your feedback and insight on that. But that's exactly the point. Innovation doesn't happen in isolation, and the best systems aren't born perfectly. They evolve through practice, feedback, and honest experimentation. So today you're getting a behind the scenes look at that evolution in action. So whether you're AI curious, AI skeptical, or somewhere in between, I think you'll find value in seeing how these tools can enhance rather than replace the human creativity and thinking that makes our work so meaningful. All right, let's dive into this very real and very unpolished conversation about the future of creative productivity. All right, PJ, welcome to the podcast again. Glad to have you back, bud.
You make it sound like I'm on here so often that
So often.
you're back again. No,
I think
what is
it's
this?
been
My
maybe like
second? I think this is my
this might
second
be
time on.
I think it's your third.
Okay,
I
I'll
think
trust you.
It's the second in the Creativity Made Easy one. I did have you on way back when I was doing Enneagram stuff, didn't I? Did I have you on for that?
Oh man, I've slept a few times and not enough since then to be able to tell you whether or not you did or not.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. Anyway, by now you all know why we're here. You saw it in the intro. We're going to walk through this really clunky process that I have for doing my weekly preview. Just to give you a little backstory on the whole, what is a weekly preview thing? We'll start there. So for a few years, I don't know, 2022 to probably 2024, I was a pretty avid user of the Full Focus Planner, and I still promote it. I still love it. I have family members and close friends and clients that use it. But it was just one more thing for me to carry around. I was already carrying around my laptop bag and everything else. And then I switched over to using a Remarkable pad, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. And so I wanted to have a way to be able to use it, but the Full Focus Planner includes this thing at the beginning of every week. It has you walk through your week to plan out the week, right? So like you're making the plan of what's going to happen before it actually happens so that you have a plan when you get into there. And obviously we talk a lot on this show about having a lot of margin. And so we plan in that margin as well. But yeah, so it's a lot of things that we're going to walk through today and a lot of things that you're going to see on the screen as we share with you are centered around, or their foundations are in Michael Hyatt's full focus planners. So there's really nothing that we're doing today that is intellectual property or
Proprietary. Yeah.
yeah, proprietary or anything like that. I fancy myself as a curator. I love to curate pieces
Mm.
from this thing and this thing and this thing, and then I kind of put all those curated pieces together, which you could argue there's nothing new under the sun anyway, and that's how things are always done. But I digress. Uh so we're going to show you all that today, but I thought we would start by introducing kind of the players, if you will, and the software and the different tools that we're going to be using. And I've got PJ here because we've been talking for a while in our coaching sessions and on our weekly calls. We've been talking for a while about this weekly preview and how I do it. And we have some other friends that do something similar. And we're like, man, we just need to hop on a call and let's walk through this. And so PJ's getting a two for today. He's getting to be a guest on a podcast, and he's getting to see how I do this weekly preview. And he may have some insights on how I could do it better because he's super smart.
Oh,
So
well, thank you.
let me introduce the players real quick. I mentioned at the beginning that I use a Remarkable tablet now. So I use a Remarkable tablet, and Remarkable, it's not like an iPad where it has email and text and apps and all these different things, right? Like this is designed to basically just act as a digital paper notebook. And there's multiple notebooks that can be used in it. There's all sorts of ones. I think Amazon Kindle has their own version of it.
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
Google Chrome may have their own version of it. There's all sorts of different versions of it. I like the Remarkable I'm a clean, simplistic when it comes to technology. It's why I'm a Mac user. Um, and so I like the simplicity of this right here. Only integrations really is I can add stuff to my Google Drive or Dropbox, and I can send notes via email from here, but I can't like check my email. That email can't be replied to. like, I love the restriction that it has on it because that's what it limits. Like, this is the tool that I use for that. So I take notes on this all the time during coaching sessions. I will screen share with this because you can screen share digitally, and I'll kind of John Madden playbook my way through it and draw things out. Um, but yeah, this is an everyday carry for me. I use it every day. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to produce this new weekly preview, which I used to do in the full focus planner. I'm going to produce it digitally and add it to my Remarkable, and I'll show you how we do all that. So I'll start screen sharing and introduce the other players as well. So this is Claude. This is my good friend Claude. PJ and I both good friends with Claude. My son actually even drew like a robot like version of him the other day and named it Claude. I loved it so
I've
much.
found myself starting to refer to Claude with pronouns.
Yeah,
Like, hey, I was talking with Claude the other day, and he
yeah.
said that,
He said, yeah.
and my wife always has to pause and be like, wait, you're still talking about Claude AI,
You're
right?
still talking
And I'm
about
like,
the AI
yes, yes, yes. I don't actually know someone named Claude.
named Claude. Yeah,
Now
which
I
I
want
think
to.
that's a good way. Like, how many people know someone named Claude?
Right.
So I think that's always a good way. Like, if you want to humanize it and give it a human name, that's a good way to do that, I think. So
Hmm.
anyway, this is Claude. Claude is an AI tool, much like Chat GPT or Gemini, I think is
Hmm.
one. There's all sorts of different AI tools out there, but yeah. So and I'm sure I'm not using the proper terminology for what Claude really is, but what I like about Claude is that instead of just dumping a bunch of stuff into chats and kind of using it like Google, which is kind of what I use Chat GPT for now,
Hmm.
then I can build these projects in here. And inside of these projects, I can give it specific instructions and I can give it specific project knowledge so that it knows what to give me. And we'll walk through all that as well. The other tool that we'll talk about today, or the other player in this equation that we'll talk about today as well, is Asana. This is my Asana right now for today. And the next 7 days is kind of how me and PJ both have ours organized pretty much the same way. So you've heard me talk about Asana at length on this podcast. I'm not going to go into it, but it's a project management software. This is where all of our DO and DUE dates live. So we know when we wake up and we look at the thing, it tells us, here's what we need to do today. We need to reach out. We need to call. We need to run through. We need to check. We need to write, record, write. A lot of writing today. So yeah, that's Asana. We did Remarkable. We did Claude. I think the only other thing I'm missing is there's some Google integration in Claude that it'll pull from.
Mhm.
I have
Mhm.
my Google calendars synced up to this, so you'll see me say at the beginning of this prompt, "Hey, referencing my Google Calendar." Um, Sorry, I don't know how to get this thing to stop telling me all the
Oh,
ways.
it's Grammarly is all the
Yeah,
ways that it wants you to write better.
Grammarly is like I love it and hate it at the same time. Anyway, Grammarly is probably going to want to force itself into this conversation several times today, but it's not a part of this. All right. Um, so I thought what we would do, PJ, is just I would just start walking you through kind of here are the things that I've put in the instructions. Here's the
Uh-huh.
things that I put in my project knowledge. Here's the things in my weekly preview, and then we'll start populating it so that we can see it in real time. So I'm actually going to do my weekly preview for next week. We're recording this on Thursday, September the 4th, and I'm going to do this for the following week, in which you'll see I'm actually going to be up with PJ in
Yeah.
Indianapolis area. So we'll start with the instructions. So if you click on here, these are the specific project instructions you can give it, right? So I just said, hey, create my weekly plan for each week. Pull my calendar items for the upcoming week from your Google Calendar integration, and I'll provide a list of my tasks broken up by day and category. We'll talk about that more in a second. Analyze the data and create a structured weekly plan following theme days and deep work preferences as outlined in the project documentation. That's the stuff over here that we talked about. Include relevant inspirational quotes. I love this because I love to
Mm.
learn from the leaders and heroes of our past and present. And so include inspirational quotes from Winston Churchill, who I love and have a giant picture of over here. You've probably seen him in past episodes. Teddy Roosevelt, other leaders on themes of life, leadership, creativity, process throughout the plan. Include a weather forecast for each day. This is a nice little
Oh,
tip
that's a good idea.
I took from my friend and colleague Blake Bear. And then provide thought provoking questions that align with my business plan for some of today's leading voices in small business growth. So, those are my instructions that I have for it. So, now we'll walk through these 6 things that I have in here. They're not really in particular order how they have it laid out, but we'll just talk about it. So, this right here, I won't click on it because it's long and boring. But this one right here is a Google Doc that I have of a kind of a running document of a business plan that I have for my business. It has all the stuff in there, like this is what I'm going after, this is my target, this is my marketing, this is all the stuff that I'm kind of planning in and around my business. Then I have my personal values.
Mm.
I include these in here because I want it. Again, I think there's some things that I ask for, but I wanted to understand like these are Dustin's core personal values, and I kind of break them down. Mine are courage, authenticity, resilience, excellence, faith, understanding, and leadership. It spells out the word careful or another word for intentional. Um, so yeah, daily values integration. Each daily plan should include a specific challenge or reflection tied to one of these values. So I try to include that as much as possible. Let's see what else we got. The weekly preview format. So this is the format in which I want it to give it back to me when I'm done. I have theme days. I talk about the output format. I'm not going to get too much into it here, but it's got the quotes on there, key notifications, calendar items. Um, there are some things on here. I wonder if it's in this one or not, PJ. But there was one, I think it might even have been you that told me one time about telling AI what you don't want as much as what you do want.
Right, right. Yeah,
Um,
be a critical thinker, think for
yeah,
yourself, push back on me, don't just give me positive reinforcement for the things that I'm saying and that I'm asking.
yeah,
And then humanize the writing. That's the other one I use a lot.
yeah. I love it. I need to add that one to mine. So this is only include tasks explicitly listed in provided task lists.
Hmm.
No suggestion or additional tasks because it'll see it and it'll be like, oh, I see what you're doing here, and here's 18 other things you can do. No,
Oh,
that's
interesting.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
No timing of tasks. I don't let it tell me when to do the tasks. I only want the calendar items should have time blocks on it.
Hmm.
And then group the tasks by business, client, or project. So we talk about clear headers, weather formats, quotes from Churchill, things like that. Inspirational for my goals. Speaking of goals, the next thing I have on here are my goals, which I simplified several months ago to just 2 things of being physically and financially fit.
Hmm.
Um, so, are getting healthy financially and physically healthier. So I have that in here. That I have not a priority, but I'm trying to read 50 books too. And then about me is this is, as you can tell, is a AI generated thing. I basically told Claude when I was setting up this project, hey, interview me so that you can know as much as you can about me, and I can attach this to all my projects. So this about me one is pretty much in every single project. It goes through my name, where I live, what time zone I'm in. I speak English only. Here's my professional background. Like, here's basically my tech stack that I use. Here's my project context. Like, it goes communication preferences. Like, it goes through all these different things. And it was really great. So I copied it and pasted it, and I used it in every single one of these. So if you want to add project knowledge, and I'll talk about this last one here too. If you want to add project knowledge, you just click on this plus sign. You can upload a PDF or something like that from your device, or an image or whatever you want, which I have right here. You can click add text context, and that's what these are right here. If you see where it says text in the bottom, or you can link a Google Doc. And I love that, PJ, because as I update this Google Doc, it updates in the
in
project
real
knowledge
time.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't have to worry about like, oh, I got to go change that project knowledge. So these things right here, my personal values, my goals, about me, the weekly, these are things that if I'm going to do it in a text, if I'm going to add text context, it's going to be the stuff that's like, hey, this is probably not going to change. Like, this is, but if it's going to change and it's going to fluctuate over time, then I will put it on a Google Doc, and then I will add the Google Doc. Right. And then this last one here, I don't know if it'll show you or not. Yeah, I just uploaded my brand promises, which for my business. So it's just a little bit more business context that may or may not be included in the business plan. I couldn't remember. If it's redundant, it's redundant, but I'd rather make sure it's there.
Yeah.
Um,
So one thing I'm not seeing though from your
so
stuff is like I don't see your do versus do
yeah, that's interesting.
framework that's there, and I'm also not seeing the future you framework. So
Yes.
those are two of your resources that when I build my project, yeah, project knowledge for 43 creative projects, I always put those two in there.
Yeah.
And then just even reference, build things out for with Dustin's do versus do and future you context, because then it's easy to copy into Asana.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So if my goal is to copy into Asana, I 100% use that.
Okay.
My goal here is not to copy into Asana. I'm taking from Asana. I'm
Okay.
not
Okay.
I'm not putting into Asana. So for me, this is going to go into my Remarkable. It's basically going to be on paper, right? Like, you
Sure.
could
Sure.
print these if you wanted to. If you didn't have a Remarkable, you could print this out every week if you wanted to. So yeah, good call though. If I was any project that I have in here, like PJ said, if I'm putting something into Asana, like if I needed to, hey, read this project overview meeting that I had with PJ, pull out all
Mm,
the stuff, remember the DO and the future me and all that, I'll put that in the project knowledge 100%. But I just haven't found it. I haven't found a need for it here yet.
got it.
Maybe it'll help. I don't know. But I haven't seen a need for it yet. So what I do here is then I pretty much use the same prompt every time, right? So I say, hey, reference my Google Calendars, because it has the Google Calendar integration, which you can do down here in your settings. You can link it to your Google Calendar. Hey, reference my Google Calendars and my Asana tasks below. Now I'll pause there for a second. I copy and paste my Asana tasks in. Now some of you may be going, wait, Claude has Asana integration. You're right, it does. I have yet to figure out a way for it to actually work right.
Hmm.
So if you have a way for it to work right, let me know. Because when I ask it to reference it, it pulls some stuff, and then it will pull things from different time periods, like things that I did months ago, or
Interesting.
things that I don't need to do until like 3 weeks from now.
Hmm.
Um, I'll only get some of the stuff. I won't get all the stuff. And so there's a lot of conversations of me having back and forth with it, going like, hey, you missed this, you missed this. And it's like, oh, you're right, I missed this. And it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
for me, it is a little bit more tedious to do the way that I'm about to do, but it's more accurate than what I'm finding in their Asana integration right now. But again, if you or anyone who's listening to this knows anything more about this, I'm all ears for the Asana integration. But I will copy and paste my tasks over, and I'll show you how I do that here in a second. But referencing the Google Calendars and the Asana task below, prepare my weekly preview for, and then I put the dates in because what I've found in AI land is they don't always understand the dates. Even this morning,
Yep.
I was using it for something else, and it goes tune in or like check back in on Tuesday. This and was it 4 or 5 days from now on Tuesday, December the 9th, and I'm like, that's not 4 or 5 days from now.
No, no.
It's September, bro.
Is
Uh,
December 9th a Tuesday? That's what I want to know.
Maybe. I don't even know. Probably not. So then I have to go, hey, dummy, it's today's date is, which makes Tuesday, yada, yada. And it's like, oh, yeah, sorry. I don't know what I was thinking there. It can be a real stoner sometimes.
I've always thought about it like a toddler who's just trying to, no, I shouldn't say that I've thought about it that way. I heard somebody say AI is like a toddler always trying to please you.
Yes, 100%. 100%. So then I'll give it the dates. Hey, Monday, September the 8th through Friday, September 12th. Full focus preview. Again, this get dismissed. Full focus will, preview the weekends as well. I rarely used the weekend ones because I associated it with work. And on the weekends, I was trying to disconnect from that. So again, I do my weekly preview Monday through Friday. That's my work week. So, hey, use the weekly preview format right here. And steps to achieve my annual goals for the week. I don't know what in steps means. Maybe I mistyped something. Oh, and steps. And steps to achieve my annual goals for the week. Ask clarifying questions if you need to. This one's a big one. I love this one. I also have a few items on other calendars that you may not see. I should say may not cannot. That you may not see. So be sure to ask me about those as well. Because if you're like me, you have a bunch of different calendars. I have my work calendar. Then I have another personal calendar. Then we have a family calendar. There's all these different calendars. Both of my businesses, they each have their own calendar.
Right.
And so I just want to be uber sure that it's got everything. So I will, just like with everything with AI, we will cross-reference this to make sure it's accurate, which I know is a little bit of a pain right now.
But it's a needed step so that we don't miss certain pieces. Now, let me ask you a question right here.
Yep.
Why not add this prompt minus the dates to your project knowledge and just say, hey, Claude, run my weekly preview prompt. Refer to the weekly preview prompt for these dates.
Let's give it a shot. Let's add context and we'll say weekly preview prompt. We'll slide it in right here. And we'll say, what would I say? Like dates?
I would do like prepare my weekly preview for Monday through Friday, and then in brackets put insert dates or something like that.
Monday through Friday. Insert dates. Like that?
Because then now I think you could just go, this is what I've done a few times with some client deliverable work, is build the prompt there and then just say, run this prompt SOP for XYZ thing. Here's the little bit of information that you need, and go. And then it would kick it all out. So maybe we just saved you even a few more minutes.
Maybe. I'm into it. So yeah, run my weekly preview for Monday, September 8th to Friday, September 12th, 2025. Those are the right dates, right? Yep, that's the 8th. Yep, that's okay, cool. So then what I do from there, nerd moment, but if you do a soft return instead of a hard return, shift enter. If you just hit enter right here, it's going to submit it. And it's going to be like, all right, you said you're going to provide me with some tasks. Where are those, dummy? Like now who's the dummy? So I hit shift enter there to go down a couple of lines there just for my mental clarity. So then what I do next, PJ, is I go over here to my Asana. And well, first I will say, hey, let's do Monday. So I'll say, here's Monday. Sorry. I will all caps do Monday. And then first thing I will do is CCC tasks, which is my business, Chief Creative Consultant. And then I'll do a colon and I'll do it like this, because if I just were to copy this stuff here, it doesn't know what project it's associated with. So I'm giving it that information as well.
Got it.
So let's see. If I look at here's Monday, so I'm going to say Monday. Those are 1898 ones. Here's some chief creative ones. So I'll go chief creatives from here to here. So I will hold down shift and I will command C, copy those things, go back over here, hit paste, drop it down with another soft return, and just check and make sure that looks like it's everything for Monday. That's chief creative. But then I also have some 1898 stuff. So then I'll say 1898 tasks. I'll switch back over here. I'll go to 1898 tasks, click on those things, copy them, go over here, paste them, just like that, pretty much all the way down. Let's see, what do I have? That's pretty much everything for Monday. So then I'll go all caps Tuesday. Anything you see so far that's weird?
No.
Cool. So then I'll go Tuesday. Tuesday is typically more of a culture-based day for me. That's my other business. It's going to be a little light next week because I have a lot of meetings and I'm traveling. So my task list looks a little light for next week. A little lighter than normal. You might look at it and be like, that's a lot of stuff. But it's actually not. Yeah. So let me get down to Tuesday. So I do have looks like I have one chief creative. I'll come back to that one. But here's some culture-based stuff. I don't mind adding that personal one in there. Doesn't bother me. That's Tuesday, stops right there. So then I'll go back over here. I'll put that in here. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm self-editing as well.
Yeah.
So, for example, I know because I know my calendar, I know off the top of my head that next week, this coaching meeting with Caleb Wright is actually going to be on Friday, and it's going to be on the calendar. So if it's a meeting, I like to have my meetings in Asana, but I don't necessarily add them into my weekly preview because it's already going to be on my calendar portion. So and you'll see that when we do this here. So if it's a meeting like that, I'll take that off. I'll take this one off again because it's going to be on my calendar. That one isn't necessarily. I do remind myself to take a solo walk for 15 minutes twice a week. It's just for mental clarity and to get away from my desk and do all that stuff. So I will be driving that day, so I'm probably not going to do that. So then I'll go down here and go, okay, yeah, now we're good. Now we're looking at Wednesday. Again, I've got some culture-based stuff, so I'll go down to where the culture-based stuff ends. I'll copy and paste that. We'll go down here to Wednesday. That's how I remember how to spell it.
Wednesday. Yep.
Wednesday. I forgot up here to include this one on Chief Creative for Tuesday. So Tuesday was actually TCB task. And then if I go down to here and say CCC task is when I will be editing this episode, apparently. So yeah, there's all that. Good to go. Good to go. Get down and make sure I covered all my bases for Wednesday real quick.
You didn't do your culture base yet?
Didn't do culture base for Wednesday.
I'm sorry, I meant CCC. You did culture base. You didn't do
Chief
creative. My bad.
So here's chief creative there. And is it just two of them? Yep, just two of them. So then I'll go over here and say CCC tasks. Need to put that back up at the top as well for Wednesday and go TCB tasks. This is like the least exciting portion of this episode. But if you need to watch it on double time, I trust you're doing it already. All right, September 11th is Thursday. They've got 143 thing in here, which is PJ.
I know that guy.
Yep. So then I'll say Thursday 40. It doesn't like it when I do the colon, so I'll just say 43 creative.
That really hurts my 4.
I know. I'm with you. It hurts me too. I hate not doing it. But every time it's like 40 and then it hard returns 3 creative.
Oh, is that what it does?
Yeah, it takes the colon as a hard return. Again,
it
can be a real stoner sometimes. So there's that task. And then I'll say down here, I've probably got CCC tasks that I need to add as well. That's a TCB one, so I'll come back to that here. I'll dump those there, and then I'll say TCB task. There was one there, right there. Quality manual for one of our clients. I'll pop that in right there. So then I'll just double check and make sure I have everything. I don't have anything for Friday because, again, as you saw, I try to keep my Fridays. I don't know if we covered that or not, but in my preview stuff up here, I said I don't like to schedule. I've been not scheduling tasks on Fridays,
Okay.
and I've been using it as my like catch all day. But I typically have a ton of client meetings on Fridays as well, whether it's coaching. It's usually coaching meetings.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things my VA helped me realize is like, hey, you don't get stuff done on Fridays. And I'm like, hey, shut up.
Just because you're right doesn't mean you have to say it out loud.
Right. So I'm like, you're right. So we decided we don't put any tasks on Fridays anymore. So yeah, everything in here looks right to me. And then from here, I will go ahead and submit it, see what it does.
So now you're going to have to tell me if this runs as well with us using that prompt that we put in the knowledge.
Yeah, I will. I will let you know. I fully expect to have to give it some things. So here it says it's creating weekly preview, pulling the calendar data, and then it's going to provide some clarifying questions. So you can see what it's
You
doing
should have
here.
put the weather forecast in for up here.
You're right. Normally I would do. I'm honestly kind of afraid of like what it might do to this and be like, wait, which is it?
I'm so confused.
I'm so confused, but you're right. I definitely should have done that. That's a good catch. See, already it's going. See, you're traveling to Indy September 9th through the 14th. Several important meetings scheduled throughout the week. So here's some questions that it's giving me. So travel details. So when I answer questions on Claude, I love how it gives me numbers. So I will literally just number it and answer it that way. So it says travel details. I see you marked Dustin in Indy from September 9th to 14th. Are you staying in Indy for the entire week, or will you be commuting back and forth? This affects how I structure your task planning. Great question, Claude. I will be driving up on Tuesday afternoon, staying the night in Nashville, Tennessee, before continuing the drive on. I'll fix all these spelling things. I know it's driving you nuts. On Wednesday, I hate typing in front of people.
I'm not judging you, and
I appreciate it, but everybody else is. All right. So additional calendars. Do you have any other important meetings or commitments on separate calendars I should be aware of? This particular week, I'm going to say no. You should be able to see most things, but we can double check at the end. 3, priority focus. Given your travel schedule and the mix of discovery calls, coaching sessions, and business meetings, are there any particular tasks or projects you want to prioritize this week? I'm going to say no, let's focus on these things because that's why I'm going. So I'm going to say no, let's focus on those. And then 4, TCB tasks. Notice several TCB tasks, particularly around the Varus project. Should these take priority over other tasks given the client deliverables? No, I will be with them on Thursday morning. Let's see how this goes.
so far is this operating the same way that it did when you would put the whole prompt in?
Yep. It's riveting content right now. People just sitting here watching AI process. Yeah, this is great. This is 100% what I do. So it'll spit out this to me, and so this is what I copy into my first page of my Remarkable, which I'll show you how I get all this onto my tablet here in a second. But yeah, it's doing calendar, it's doing tasks. I'll show you how I change those into check marks when I put them into my Remarkable. It's got my travel plans in here. That's pretty cool. Yep. I am wondering now if the weather is for, and I may even ask it, like, is the weather for where I'm at?
Did you recognize that I'm going to be in Indianapolis? And
yeah, I might even start typing that prompt in here. So, is the weather forecast appropriate for the locations I will be in this week? Man, trying to spell appropriate on a podcast. That's so yeah, here goes. It says, I created this thing for you: travel schedule, theme days, weather awareness. Everything looks super right to me right here. And I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm going to do this one thing here on this about the weather and then let it tighten that up. And then I'll show you how I get it into Remarkable. And then
Great.
we'll be done. See what it does. And I go, oh yeah, I see that there. Well, I was just doing what I was told.
Yeah, probably.
I love
You're
it.
absolutely right. I made an error.
Yeah. Yep. Look at it. Here it goes. So it's updating my weather. That's a good call. I like that a lot.
Now you know if you're going to get rained on or
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
snowed on.
know how to pack. But yeah, you can see it's updating the weather here. I'll be in Carrollton on Monday. It's doing the weather up here. It's getting the little things, a couple of things out of whack, but I just let it do its thing while it's doing its thing. It's got Wednesday now before, but it's fixing it. But yeah, you can see I got Churchill quotes in here.
Yeah, I love that idea.
Yeah, the quotes are fun. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Eleanor Roosevelt. Let's just sit on that for a second.
Yeah, no kidding.
Indy on Friday, going to be beautiful. 79 degrees, mostly sunny, 10% chance of rain. I love it. So now I've got all that. Before I take this into Remarkable, I'm going to show you one more thing that I do with Claude. And I need to get a better written prompt for this, but I usually just kind of wing it week to week. But I also add in here, create a document with my calendar schedule for the week. And this is a one way that I double check my calendar to make sure it's right too. For the week, to provide to my family so they know what and where I'm up to. So this is again a quick way. My wife likes me to provide this to her, not so that she can like keep tabs on me, but it's like, hey, now I know when I can interrupt and when is not a good time to interrupt, because I do work out of the house, right?
Yeah.
So right now I'm downstairs in our basement studio space. The family's upstairs. She has this, and then boom. I've also started copying this same thing and emailing it over to my VA, so that she has good notice as well. I love the little emojis sometimes that it throws in here. It's super fun.
So here's another question. If
Yeah.
you get that prompt worked out, can you add that to your weekly preview prompt in the deliverables, and then it would kick out 2 or 3 artifacts for you at once?
Yep. Probably could. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to double check with my calendar to make sure that everything actually lines up with what we're saying now. There's some red stuff on here. I'm getting real vulnerable here. There's some red stuff on here that would be more like family oriented stuff. But essentially, I'm going to go through here and go, all right, do we have podcast discovery call, weekly check-in? I got a dentist appointment going on here at the same time that I have a meeting with Coop. So I've got to let him know that's not happening. And then I have back-to-back dentist appointments on Monday afternoon. I'm a glutton for punishment. So let's go up here and go, podcast recording, discovery call, weekly check-in with Lou is there. Yep, it's there. That's there. 2 o'clock to 3:30, but I think I'm actually 1 o'clock to 3:30. So I'll have to change that. I'll say dentist appointment on Monday. I will do all this in one prompt as well. So dentist appointment on Monday is actually from 1 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. And y'all can see my terrible spelling because I'm not a great person. All right. So
that has nothing to do with your character, Dustin.
I know. Discovery coffee that I'm having, TCB Weekly Pulse, and then a phone call on Tuesday. Yes. Wednesday. Extended meetup with Darren. Yep, that all looks right. I know my calendar there. Thursday, coaching call, Mitch. Okay, so it's not getting some TCB stuff. This is what I was talking about earlier about it not catching some things. So here are some TCB meetings during the week as well. Now, I know some people that will provide screenshots of their calendar
Mm-hmm.
and put it on there. I have yet to figure out how to make that work because maybe the answer is to blow it up big on my big monitor. But I feel like it usually cuts off information that I want to know. Like it'll cut off the end of somebody's name, or it'll cut off the location, or things like that. But I mean, maybe I'll just try it here and say, here's the screenshot of when some uh, culture based things are. Because usually, if it's culture based, I have TCB written on it.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'll go back over here to it and I say screenshot as well. So I'll say see the attached screenshot with TCB items, or with TCB in the it'd be in the appointment title.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'll add right here. I'll upload a file, go to my desktop and look at all the screenshots that I have up in here. There it is right there. Boom. I'll do that. And it might say, "Hey, I also picked up on some other things." That's what I was kind of nervous about. Maybe I should have like unchecked those calendars so it
Other
could,
calendars.
yeah, so it could only see mine. But again, we told you up front, folks, this is a raw episode. And that's part of it.
It's a learning episode.
It's a learning episode. I'm learning. You get to watch me learn. That's what all this is. Yeah.
Okay, so while that does its thing on adding those additional items,
Yeah.
have you tried uploading a CSV of your exported Asana tasks?
I think I did one time and
Mm-hmm.
it still didn't give me what I wanted, but it may
Okay.
be worth revisiting for
Because
sure.
I think when you do the CSV, doesn't it include the project as a
Yeah,
tab
I know what the issue was. I was having trouble figuring out how to export only a period of time
as opposed to everything?
as opposed to everything. So, like right now, when I do an export of my Asana, it exports everything, which is a lot.
Yeah, right.
Um, so I was having a hard time, which I guess you could probably go there and then go, okay, and now we're just going to edit out that thing. But I feel like by the time I do all that, I can copy and paste just as quick.
Mm, mm.
Major updates: dentist appointment, Wednesday lunch, Thursday 3 back-to-back coaching sessions. That should be Friday, not Thursday. That's what I was nervous about. Thursday is now accurately shown. Overlapping meetings. Thursday reality check. It's like, hey, so we are actually on Friday, September 12th, not Thursday. My guess is that it's probably only updating this calendar, which means I'm going to have to tell it now, go back and
Oh yeah.
add all these correct times into my week. Oh, it looks like I might be doing that actually. No, it's not. No, it is. Yeah, this is my weekly preview. That's working on right now.
Yeah, because there's the second artifact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, weekly preview, and then he's now fixing the family schedule.
Nice.
Perfect. Thanks for the correction. I've now updated both documents accurately show. Perfect. Let me just double check that Thursday morning. It still didn't catch my Thursday morning. Right here.
Because you singled out TCB, maybe.
Oh, you're right. You're right. So, one more, please add this to my Thursday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. at Varus Engineering. All right, we'll let it do that thing. Yeah, so a little clunky here on the calendar side of things. But while it's booting up, while it's doing that, I'll show you over here. So that's my tax worksheet. We don't need to see that. I have to cut that out.
I was gonna say and cut
and edit out. Where is what I was looking? Oh, so Remarkable has a desktop app. So I open up my Remarkable desktop app. And already PJ's like, I see how you do it. So Weekly Planner is a folder that I have. And inside of the folder, I do a new notebook for every week. You can see all my weeks in here. So then I'll go up here, I'll create a notebook, and I will name it the dates. I'll say September 8th through 12, 2025. Boom. Now I have a blank slate of a notebook of September 8th, through the 12th. So now I will go back over here. Yes, it's done doing my thing now. I'll click on Weekly Preview, and I'll start copying. Now, I could just copy this whole thing and break it up, but again, I'll show you I like to do it on different pages. So I'm selecting that. I'm copying it. I'm going over here, and I'm pasting it there. Now I want to do a new page because I like my weekly like my kind of big overarching theme for the week to be on one. Let me go big here. To be on one. And then I will add pages from there. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to add a page. I'm going to close the calendar now. I'm going to go back over here I'm going to grab everything for Monday all the way down until the break. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to paste that in. So there's all my stuff from there. And I will do this for every day of the week. And then I'll show you my final format. And then we're done and open for any additional questions. I'll pop that there. New page. Go down here, grab Wednesday. Pop that in. Now, I know this is taking like 45 minutes, but this typically...
You're showing me which is going to take longer.
Yeah, this typically will only take me about 15 to 20 minutes. So there's Thursday. I'll go there, go here, there. And it will give me a Friday, but I don't necessarily... I mean, I guess I've got stuff for meetings there, so I probably should take it. So there's a Friday right here. Paste it right there. Now, it gave me some additional stuff here with my weekly, it says weekend preparation and goal alignment. But I will take all of this stuff here, my goals, small business growth insights, things like that. I will copy all of those things and I will actually add them to my first page. So I'll go back to the first page. Come on. There it is. I'll go back to the first page, enter in a few times, and I'll paste those things right there. So my first page, when I open up on my actual Remarkable tablet, and I open this up on my tablet, this will be my first page. And I'll see everything here. My key rocks. Here's some goal stuff to remember. Here's some reading goal stuff to remember. I can get more specific if I wanted to. Look, pack current book for travel reading. Great call. Small business growth insights for each day. I could put those on the days if I wanted to. I might even. But then I go down here. And so what I'll do is I'll do a quick formatting thing because PJ and I both are, what do you want to say? Challenged in this way.
Visually stimulated, visually challenged.
Yeah. Like we have to have certain hierarchies there. So you can see there's different options for me here. So I do, these types of things. If it's a header, I change it to a header. I leave the title up there. Now, these are actual tasks, so I'll highlight these. Sorry, my computer's lagging a little bit. I'll highlight these, and I'll change them over to checkboxes. So now...
that just does that straight in Remarkable.
Yep.
I see.
Yep. So I'll make that checkbox as well. I'll make this... Here, I'm not gonna do every single day, but you guys get the picture of what I'm doing here. So there's that, just like that. So now each of my days will look like this. When I open up my Remarkable, it'll show me this weekly preview. Got all that right there. I go over here. Now I've got Monday. Here's my weather. Here's my quote from Winston Churchill. My personal value focus of the day is courage. Take one bold action today that moves your business forward, even if it feels uncomfortable. Here's my calendar for the day. It's gross. Very few tasks because it's calendar heavy. My whole week will be calendar heavy, so it'll be task light, which we talked about on my most recent blog post, calendar task optimization. So I think that's everything. A lot of things I learned here. And hopefully it wasn't too clunky for you. And hopefully there's some little bits and pieces there that you can take and make your process. But really, at the end of the day, what we say always, PJ, is like this process is for like whatever works for you. I
Right.
use Claude, Remarkable, Asana. You could use a legal pad, an iPhone, and chat. I don't care what you use. Whatever you use, though, like just make sure it works for you and make sure it feels natural to you. Don't make it if there's any kind of hurdle or new habit that you have to learn, the less of those that you can incorporate, the easier it's going to be for you to actually repeat use and success over and over again. Any final words of encouragement to our listeners?
No, I think the big takeaway, at least on my front, is
The quotes.
quotes. The quotes are great. No, actually, it was a couple of the other things in the project knowledge. So I'm an iPhone, iPad, Good Notes user. So I would probably do this exact same process, but then have it format for a Google Doc that then I can open into Good Notes and then be able to check off through that.
Yeah.
Rather than using the Remarkable piece. But I think that the other stuff with it, though, is in that project knowledge piece where I loved the About Me section. That's a great one that I'm going to add today for sure.
Yeah, it's fun.
And then working out some
And
of
before
those
too, it makes you really feel seen.
Yeah, right. I Claude knows me.
Claude knows me. So get off my back about my relationship with Claude. You don't know me like Claude does.
Funny story. A friend of ours has their 8th grade daughter asked me to fill out some questions about video editing and marketing, like using video and marketing. And so I was like, she sent me the questions and I just straight dropped them into Claude and said, you know everything about my business and what I do. Answer these questions. And I started reading them out loud to my wife. And she was like, oh my gosh, that sounds exactly like you. Had to do some proofing, do some tweaking and some editing. But yeah, so I'm like, it knows me. It's great. But I love the additional pieces to that in the project knowledge. I think that those were the big takeaways for me of what'll push me forward with the weekly preview.
Yeah, project knowledge is just like any other person that you're talking to. They have to have the context of what you're talking about. You can't just walk up to somebody and go, give me this. And they go, wait, what's the context here? Right. It's the same thing. Like you need to be able to get, whether you're using chat or Claude or Gemini or whatever you're using, like you need to be able to give it the appropriate context. And so I rather have it. I like Claude because I don't have to give it that context over and over again. I can kind of, it's all built in there and done. So
chat does do that now too. You can do project builds very similarly to what you can do in Claude. I do find that chat is just better for research. And Claude creates the content, writes the content in more of an authentic voice that way.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, we'll wrap up the episode here. Next week, we're going to be back with another episode of Creativity Made Easy. We're going to talk about, there's a process for that. You know how people always used to say when Apple first came out, there's an app for that. We're going to talk about next week how there's a process for that. You got a problem? There's a process for that. And we're going to talk all about that next week on Creativity Made Easy. You can find out more about Chief Creative Consultants at dustinpeed.com. That's PEAD. You can find out more about 43creative.com. Any of your marketing or branding needs, go check PJ out at 43, spell it out, 43creative.com. PJ, thanks for being here, bud.
Thanks, man. Thanks for the lessons.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Have a great week.